Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about if you cannot manage a $50,000 salary, then you won't be able to manage a 200,000 salary. Now, obviously, it doesn't go for just these numbers. This is just an example. I mean, if you can't manage a $60,000 salary, you can't manage a $500,000 salary. The same concept, but Kirby, I'll let you open this one up.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go a little different. I don't care how much money you're making. If you have the idea, the fallacy, the belief that if you got $1 million tomorrow, that you're gonna be all right. You can retire and sit in the sun. You're sadly mistaken. You're sadly mistaken. And the concept is easy. If you can't understand and just look at life and through history. Life creep is a real thing. And for people that's watching this video, write this down. The word life creep. And I'm gonna see you through scenarios in my life. So I'm not talking about everybody else. I'll talk about myself. I joined the military. I was netting. I'll talk about the net because that's really what everybody cares about, of how much money that you're actually bringing in that's coming into your bank account. I was netting about $600 every 2 weeks when I joined the military. Yep, broke. This was 2002, it was probably enough to get a cell phone and a car payment, and that was it. And then, as you know, within 6 months of getting promoted, I mean, being going in as an E1, then I got promoted to an E2, and then I'm probably bringing in, 675 to $700 every 2 weeks, maybe 750. But still, now I didn't upgraded the cell phone. I probably didn't trade it in and got a newer car, and I'm still broke. Me and the dudes in the barracks, we scraping our money together because that back then you can get a 20 case of Bud Light for $20. So we scraping our pennies together so we can, get our drinks in. And then that's what we did. And then from there, as moved on, and then just a quick understanding, I went from E1 to E5 in like 18 months or so. But still, I was broke. I still was broke. It didn't matter. I was still broke. Well, less than 2 years. It wasn't 18 months. I was AE4 less than 18 months, but then E5 after that. But I was still broke because then trading the car. Now I got an apartment and I'm paying for the apartment. And then now, because I got an apartment, I got to have a flat screen TV. I got to go buy furniture. I got to do this now because I hold the rank of a quote unquote sergeant. Now I got to live like a sergeant, and I got to have a newer car and things like that. That's what you call life creep. And it's not just in the military, it's people in everyday life. You start off as entry level, probably making 10, $12 an hour. Then you go to 15, 18, 25, $30 an hour. And then you still have the same amount of money at the end of the month that you had when you was starting off as entry level. That was the life. That's how most people do it. They believe that they have to show that they reached a position. So they think that, oh, because I worked to get this promotion, I deserve a better car. I deserve a better this, a better that. And then as I fast forward, I get out the military during the financial crisis, by the way. Uh, there was no jobs in the civilian sector that would match the income that I made to maintain the life that I had when I was in the military. So that's when I first, noticed like, oh man, the civilian world is way different than the military world. And then I always told myself that there was no way, I didn't care what happened. I was never going back home with my tail between my legs to say, oh man, I tried, but I need to come back home. So then again, we always talk about looking in the mirror. We look in the mirror, and then what I said was, hey, I need to get a job. I need to pay off this debt. And then I'm not going to, once I have a set budget or set lifestyle, no matter how much more money I make, I am not increasing my lifestyle. And then now we fast forward until what, 2 years ago, Alex, the same truck that I had when I left the military. I had that truck for 15 years. I mean, it was paid off, and I just rode it till the wheels fell off. And the cost of living that we had then is the same cost of living that we have now. I mean, we we have internet, we don't have cable, we don't go and say, oh, because we have all these hundreds of $1,000s coming in now, that Oh, we need a bigger house. I'm still in the same house. I've been in the same house for 12 years. And those are the different nuances and things that I realize is once I'm happy in where I'm at, and then all the extra money comes in, it gives me opportunities and availabilities to do other things. I've had friends and family members that come into lump sums of money, and every time I talk to them, I say the same thing. The first thing is don't take advice from broke people. The second thing is live like you never got the money. So live your life just like you still make your paycheck. Of course, nobody ever listens. They think, oh, I got a lump sum of money. This money gonna last forever. You wake up, 30 days, 60 days later, they didn't spent all the money because they never had that amount of money. And then it just evaporates fast because they don't understand what the money do. But I always implore people, get comfortable where you're at. And then no matter what happens, now you find a way to make more income, more income, more income, and you never change where you're at. You don't add monthly expenses to your lifestyle. And with doing that, that's how you're able to control money. Because Dave Ramsey said it best, and I love it, is if you don't tell money what to do, money will tell you what to do. And so that's why people will not have the ability to control their if they get a bigger pay raise and think that they're going to save. What's the number one thing you hear if you ask somebody, hey, have you had $1 million today, what would they say? I'll invest it. That's what they'll say. They don't have no clue what the hell investing is, but they will invest it, right? And the truth of the matter is, no, they won't. They're going to blow the money, and that's all it is. I mean, if you would invest it, why you not investing the what you have left over from the lifestyle you have now? Are you gaining knowledge on what investing is? You're not doing none of that, but you just think, oh, once I have this money, with this money, I gain a whole lot of knowledge. No, you get dumber actually when you get more money because you're able to do more things. So you're going to do those more things if you don't have the financial discipline to get it done. I mean, the craziest thing ever to me was we moved here to Florida, and then I put $100,000 in my wife's bank account. I wake up, I mean, I wake up, but I look up 2 years later, she didn't spend a penny of the $100,000. Not one penny. Actually, it gained interest, the little interest that it was in the bank in the bank account. But she was like, why? I'm comfortable where I'm at. That's what it's like to uh, get used to being around money. Always having that extra overflow because you're comfortable in the situation you're in, and you're not trying to improve your standard, and you're just okay with life, and then you have excess on top, and it's nothing new to you. Like, okay, well, just act like I don't have it. But I know I was long-winded, Alex, but this is one I'm very passionate about. But what you got?
Yeah, no, I agree with everything you said. And it is something that you hear too when people say, "Oh, if I got $1 million, I'd quit my job, I'd invest it, but they have no knowledge to do any of those things and sustain themselves with that. But it's very true because, I mean, just looking at like when when I started, I mean, I was making 10.50 an hour, and I don't live much different from, you know, where I am now. I mean, now I start to try and go out to eat because, Kirby over here started that was my lifestyle inflation. But I mean, other than that, I mean, it's like I just look at the more money I do make gives me a bigger opportunity to get more money. That's all I look at it as. It's just if I can make more, I can use that to make more. And most people, the more that they make, they want to spend more. And especially because I know this because, and I'm sure you hear this all the time, but um, the more money I started to make, my family and friends would be like, "Oh, why don't you go here? Why don't you buy this? Why don't you do this? You should take your wife to do this." It's- all the holidays, would you get your wife for this holiday or this? And it's like, it's so hard to explain to people, like, you don't understand how we live. Like, the way you guys live is not the same way we live, and they just cannot grasp that. And it's the idea of, just like in another thing that Dave Ramsey says, is if you live like no one else, you can live like no one else. Like, it's the same concept. And I mean, I see it all the time too with, the more money people make and especially people like say at work who tell me, "Oh, I'll start investing when I make X amount or X amount." And rather than just starting now, and of course, then they get those raises and then they never even start investing. And it's like they always need a higher income before they can start doing something important with their life. So I think it's a matter of just discipline, self-control, stop making excuses, and just understand what's more important to you. And unfortunately, to most people, it seems like what's most important to them is blowing their money and trying to impress other people. But in the long run, that gets them absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, and a quick story, Alice. I believe I told you this one before, but in the contracting world. So after after years I've been out of the military, I started in the contracting world, and of course, they're making way more money than they made, you know, depending on what the job they did in the States. They're making way more money. And this was a thing that was crazy to me. And then I'm already in the philosophy of I don't care how much money I make, I'm already comfortable in my life, nothing's gonna change. So I'm over there in those situations, and you see these people, and most of the people, 90% of the people there is older than me. And, they're getting paid, they're blowing their money, doing whatever, going to the Haji shops, going on vacation. And it seemed like to me, everybody was battling to see who had the most expensive vacation. One person will go and say, "Oh yeah, I spent $10,000 on vacation." One guy go and say, "Oh, I spent 30,000 on vacation." So the next guy goes to top it, and then of course I take the fewest vacations because of course I don't spend any money. And then so I would go on vacation. They'd be like, "What you do?" I was like, "Oh, I just went home. That's it. I just went home." And then they would sit there and laugh at me, and then guys would even say they say, "Hey, young buck, you don't know nothing about this money." And I said, "Yeah, I do. I invest everything that I make." And then so fast forward, they used to make fun of me because I invest. You know, they would even go the extra leg and tell people, "Yeah, this guy Kirby in here, he thinks he's an investor." But I still laugh at that today. And then so fast forward, now it's time for everybody to go home. Then nobody has any money because they thought this gravy train wouldn't stop, right? And then so then they come to me, "Hey man, I got $500. Where can I invest in to make some money?" Oh no, I don't know that game. I don't know that game. But I know I've sit here this whole time when you was making money, and I told you, "Hey, you should start investing your money," and you said I didn't know what the hell I was talking about. And then so we fast forward, and then everybody comes home, and my life was still the same. I didn't go add a new nuance. I didn't buy a new car in that time frame. I didn't do anything. I still live my life, watch sports. I don't have no special packages or nothing. I watch sports when they come on, and then I still stay focused on the grind. And then, of course, when I came back from contracting, the jobs that was out here in the civilian sector wasn't paying nowhere near that. But it really didn't matter because my lifestyle didn't change from when, I was broke as hell living in Texas. And I said, this is the lifestyle I want. So I can go pick up any job to continue that lifestyle at the time. Of course, I didn't pick up a job. I just sat at home for about 2 years, gaining knowledge and stuff like that. But that was the nuance. You see it all the time. And all through my career, I've seen people have a lot of money and then they blow it. And then once they're down to their last 500, $5,000, then now they want to act like they had an epiphany and they need to start investing. You should have had that epiphany when you first got the money, not when you're down to your last pennies. But that just goes on to show people with this ideal concept or misnomer that, hey, once I make more money, I'm going to start doing. That's usually not the case at all. And all the successful investors, they all started not when they made money, they started when they didn't have no money to make money, and then they kept making money. You don't see people say, "Oh, I made a whole bunch of money. Now I'm gonna start investing." Tell me where you found that person at. I mean, even the people that hit the lottery, they don't be like, "Oh, I'm investing." They usually be broke within 3 to 5 years. So to think that you're gonna be opposite or different from the stories that we just told, you're sadly mistaken. If you're not putting in the time now when you have nothing, and you're not trying to execute when you have nothing. When you get something, you're going to, the only thing you're going to think of is emotionally, oh yeah, now it's time for me to get all my stuff back that I didn't have when I was broke. That's what's gonna happen with the money. Then you're gonna buy a whole bunch of crap, and then you're gonna look up, and then the money's gonna be gone, and then you're gonna wonder what happened, and then you're gonna be calling a friend, hey, I got $5,000. I got $5,000, man. Where can I put it to flip it to make $250,000 by the weekend? Alex, they're gonna be calling you because I'd be cussing their ass out. But that's just the truth.
And with all that being said, guys, if you like the video, hit the like button. Don't forget to share, subscribe, and we will see you guys in the next one.